Good evening, friends. Uh, our Honorable Finance Minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley, had presented budget yesterday, and to me, it seems very balanced budget, uh, which we can probably see with the market really rallying 700 points. It seems that it has gone well amongst most of the industries. Uh, Although the budget was not Make in India budget, but more of rural India budget thrust towards education and similar soft sector. But to me, I think he really missed real amendments towards GST. I mean, if we are expecting GST from 2017, there should have been changes towards GST. For an example, threshold limit should have been reduced to 75 lakhs if we had to move towards GST, which was not done. The SSI exemption continued at 1.5 crore. I mean, abolition of SAT should have been, you know, carried out in this budget, which was not done, and SAT continues. Digitalization of compliances. I mean, in GST, everything has to be digitalized. So same sort of things could have been introduced in this budget, which has not done. Uh, then exemption. I mean, it has been proposed that under the GST regime, most of the exemption which are there under the central excise provisions would be reduced. However, the same has not been carried out in this particular budget. Having said that, I would say there are a lot of positives as well in this particular budget, which one has to look forward to. Say for an example, rationalization of sandwich scheme has been done in this particular budget. I mean, that could be the move towards GST. Uh, Service tax has not changed. Of course, it has changed from 14.5 to with the Krishi cess of 0.5 to 15, but there has not been a significant change which we were expecting. Uh, Revision of excise return is something very positive thing which he has brought in this particular budget, because earlier revision of service tax return was there, but there was no revision provision for central excise return. So that is again something which is very positive, which he has brought. Um, Another very fantastic change has been brought in the custom regime is the deferment of duty at the time of import or export, of course to specified people. Of course, in the budget he said that it would be given to the people who are having a proven track record. But although on a negative side, I would say ease of doing business, I mean, not a great change with, I mean, like in central excise, service tax and custom provision, uh, time limit for show cause has been extended. I mean, earlier the department could issue a show cause within 1 year, which has been now extended to 2 years. So that is again, I would say, not ease of doing business. Nothing for the startup. I mean, a lot was expected that for startup, I mean, some sort of threshold would be given, but the same has not been brought in this budget. Friends, we would highlight each and every change under the indirect tax regime, which has been given in this particular budget. So just watch for our changes. Thank you. In this presentation, we would be talking about key amendments under Senate, service tax, central excise, and customs under Union Budget 1617, followed by detailed analysis. There is no significant change in the rate structure. Service tax have rates have increased from 14.5 to 15% with 0.5% Krishi Kalyan cess, which would be effective from 1/6/2016. Excise duty, there has been introduction of infrastructure cess of 0.5% on specific category of automobiles, particularly petrol sector. Service credit rules have been amended whereby definition of capital goods have been changed to include open wagons and equipment appliances used in the offices located inside the factory premises. I mean, this is a good change, welcome change, whereby wagons would be eligible for credit, and this would really impact businesses which are using wagons for their operation. But point to be seen is whether wagons generally are being used outside the factory, and under the present definition of sandwich credit, capital goods which are used within the factory, the credit is available. So this is a point which one need to look forward. uh, Bringing equipment appliances which are used within the factory or operation is a good change. Henceforth, any kind of equipment which is used in the factory, I mean whether in relation to manufacture or not, should be eligible as capital goods credit. Inclusion of capital goods, inclusion of small inputs, uh, like jigs or molds sort of, which have a value of less than 10,000, was never considered as a capital goods, and the credit was lost. So it's a good amendment whereby these would be considered as a capital goods, and one would be able to enjoy the credit of these items. And pumping water which was outside factory used for captive use has also been brought within the definition of sandwich. Shipping lines have been brought under the service tax net this time, and hence this amendment whereby shipping lines have been specifically taken out from the exempted service, which means shipping lines would be able to enjoy whatever input or input services they are availing for providing the services as sandwich credit. A new concept of stretched sandwich credit has been introduced in terms of a right to use any natural resources. Uh, the- I mean, this generally these services are being used over a period of time. Hence, an amendment has been carried out whereby service tax with respect to these services would not be enjoyed in one specific year. It would be enjoyed over the period of assignment. Significant amendment in Rule 6 of Sandwich Credit Rules have been proposed. Rule 6 of Sandwich Credit Rules have always been under dispute. Since, as per this rule, sandwich credit which is attributable to taxable category is only allowed. So, under Rule 6, various mechanisms have been provided by virtue of which sandwich credit attributable to taxable category can be availed. It has been also provided in the current provision that one has to maintain a separate books of account so as to establish that sandwich attributable to taxable category has been taken, and this has been in a dispute under various forum. Under the new simplified version which has been proposed, it has been specified that one would be able to take entire credit, and whatever ineligible credit is there, that needs to be paid. So the concept of maintaining separate books of account has been withdrawn under the new provision. So presently in the new provision you have a two choice: either you pay 6% of exempted goods or 7% of exempted service, or you take a credit and pay ineligible credit in terms of sub rule 3A in situation where as a manufacturer or service provider you are having both taxable and exempted category on your output side. A detailed provision as earlier was there under sub rule 3A has also been prescribed, In terms of this detailed provision, one can calculate what is a Senvet credit attributable to eligible category, what is attributable to non-eligible to eligible category, and what is attributable to the common category. And based on that formula, you would be only allowed Senvet credit with respect to eligible category. Now suppose if you do not take that option, then it has been proposed that you would be liable to pay interest at the rate of 15%, and department would calculate the same as per the formula prescribed under rule 63A. Further, for Senvet for the financial year 15-16, the earlier provision whatsoever was there, on the basis of that you need to calculate and exercise that by 30th of June. So overall, I think that it's a very good step towards GST. But I mean, even if you have a slightest of non-taxable category on output side, you have to go through this entire pain of calculating your credits attributable to eligible, non-eligible, common in terms of rule 3, sub rule 3A. A new concept of outsourced manufacturing unit has been introduced. This is nothing but an ISD, input service distributor. I mean, like, input service distributor is nothing but an office of a manufacturer which consumes services and pass on that service tax credit to its respective manufacturing unit in certain mechanism. But it has been seen that sometimes many industry do not have their own manufacturing unit, and they get their final product manufactured through job work. Like for an example, pharma industries, the entire manufacturing process with the brand under a contractual obligation is being transferred to a job worker. So in such situation, whatever services a job worker is consuming was getting lost. So under this new concept, the credit at the job worker premises would not be lost, and the same would be transferred by the mechanism of input service distributor to the respective manufacturing unit. So again, this is a good welcome amendment. The definition of output manufacturing unit has also been specified. Like I was mentioning, the job worker who is liable to pay duty under Rule 10A of Central Excise Valuation 2000 would be considered as an ISD. And similarly, a manufacturer who is manufacturing goods for an ISD under a contractual obligation, particularly pharma company or similar sector, would be considered as an outsourced manufacturing unit. The FIFO method of determining utilization of credit has also been withdrawn. This was introduced last year. This method has really created a kind of havoc in the manufacturing fraternity, and this is a good amendment whereby this FIFO method of taking credit has been done away with. Not much significant changes have been proposed under service tax front. The first one is right to use radio frequency spectrum and subsequent transfer. This has been made as a declared service. The idea is that this service would not be considered and taxed under right to use for the VAT purpose. Certain services have been made taxable which were earlier were under exempted or negative category, like construction service for monorail or metro has been made taxable. Transportation service by ropeway cable, and legal service by a service senior advocate has been made taxable. I don't know how advocate fraternity would react to this amendment, but senior advocate has been made taxable, although junior advocate would continue to enjoy under the exempted category. Certain exemptions have been specified to key specific sector. This has been covered in our detailed slide deck. Uh, Information technology software which is sold in media and with RSP fixed and which is accessible to excise has been specifically made exempted from service. This is a very welcome amendment. This has always been under a dispute whether IT services would be exigible to service tax or excise, and by virtue of this amendment, they have made it very specific. They have really brought a clarity that if you declare RSP and if that is exigible to excise, it would not be considered as a service. Significant change which was expected under the interest has been made, whereby interest for delayed payment was almost 36%. Now the same has been reduced to 15%, and in the specific category where service tax has been collected but not paid, the interest would be charged at around 24% per annum. Reverse charge mechanism, services provided by government or local authority to business entities having turnover less than 10 lakhs has been made under reverse charge, which means that earlier only support service was there. With this amendment, any service which is provided by government or local authority to business and entity would be taxed under a reverse charge in the hands of business entity. Rationalization has been made with respect to punishable offences. The monetary limit for punishable offence like evasion, wrong availment of settlement, and maintaining false book have been increased from 2 crore to 50 lakhs, and power to arrest where service tax has been collected but not deposited with the exchequer has been made. And the first time in the service tax regime, a concept of annual return has been proposed. So now under the service tax, there would be two half-yearly returns followed by one annual return. Under custom front, only significant change I can see is a concept of special warehouse. Private and public warehouses, which were earlier under the physical control, have been now made a record based control only. As far as special warehouse is concerned, the government would notify what kind of goods you can store in, but this would remain under a physical control of customs. A warehousing bond needs to be given having 3 times of value of duty with the prescribed security. The redundant time limit which were prescribed for EOU, EHTP, STP bonding has been done away with. The warehouse rent which was earlier being monitored by custom authorities would no longer be monitored, and that has to be fixed on a principal to principal basis by the importer or exporter as the case may be. And there was a concept earlier that owner could draw a sample from warehouse, of course on duty free. So that concept have also been withdrawn. So now let's see how this warehouse special what goods are notified in this special warehouse. And one more important amendment as far as warehouse is concerned, that earlier warehousing was always notified by the board. So it was a very lengthy procedure to get anything notified as a warehouse. Under the new concept, new law, the special warehouses would be, I mean, special warehouses or private or public warehouses would be notified or would be done by the commissioner, jurisdictional commissioner. Branded ready-made garment with RSP of 1000 or more has been brought within the ambit of central excise, and even the article of jewelry, including silver articles with diamond and precious stone, have been brought within excise. An SSA exemption has been extended to both these categories, with jewelry manufacturer getting extended limit of 6 crore and 12 crore for considering aggregate turnover of all the factories together. Interest on duty paid on provisional basis earlier was calculated from the date when such determination takes place till the date of payment. It has been amended. This would be not calculated from the determination which could take place after maybe 6-7 months or more, whenever this provisional assessment gets finalized. So under the new provision, the interest meter would start from the first day post due date till the date of payment, which means that if the due date is 6th of the next month, so from 7th it would start till the date of payment. I mean, the first time in this revision of central excise return has been brought, which is a real relief change. So ER1 and ER2 can be revised within the next calendar month to which it relates. So for the ER1 and ER2 return of January, which needs to be filed by 10th of Feb, can be revised by 28th of Feb, and ER7 return can be revised within 1 month from its submission. Of course, if that submission has been made within the due date. Limitation for recovery of tax or excise duty and customs have been extended. I mean, if you can see that earlier there was 1 year within which a show cause notice could have been issued. That 1 year has been extended to 2 years. Similarly, for service tax, that extension has been made from 18 months to 30 months. Now, this amendment would really not help businesses to reduce litigation. Perhaps it is 2 years or 30 months is a too long time for the department to to issue a show cause notice. So this amendment would not be considered as welcome amendment, considering ease of business was on the priority list of the finance minister. The rate of interest has been reduced from 18 to 15% for delayed payment, and enabling provision have been made in the customs law, whereby deferment of customs duty on import and export have been specified. As mentioned by the finance minister in his budget speech, this would be extended to specified class having some proven track record. I'm sure you must have liked our analysis on indirect tax. I'm sure the amendment showcased by us would be beneficial to your business. If you have any queries, you can write to us. You can visit our website www.btassociate.com and can send your query or contact us. I mean, this analysis was not possible without the contribution of entire team members. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every member in my teams, starting from Dimple Jogani, Khushbu Singhania, Devamali Laskar, Vidisha Sarkar, Amit Das, Ashish Shaw, who have contributed each and every time for analyzing this particular budget. I would also like to thank all the office boys of this office for giving a time and making this happen. Thank you very much.